All right, welcome everyone to the Eve Growing Concepts. Today's video, we're going to show you 2022's Eve Grow Tower. So simple to make, and I have no doubt that this is going to work well with commercial growing. And this particular tower, you know, you've seen some of my towers where Eve mimics the tower garden. You've seen Eve mimic the garden tower. This one you're going to see where Eve meets these grow bags, you know, these aerated bags that do such a wonderful job that they sell. I'm a part of a couple groups that people use these bags and they love them. I was at Arianna's house where she does some amazing work with her garden, and she was using these bags. Well, this particular is very similar. Now, I've got 3 of them here. 2 of them are filled, and this is basically what it looks like here. This is going to be my 2022 towers, and we're going to be able to hook these up commercially as well as residential. Since I got such a small yard, I don't need to do it commercially, because with Eve growing you can go a very long time not needing to water, so there's no need to necessarily set up some pumps and stuff like that. And it's very similar to the videos I've already shown you, towers that I've taken apart. Very same concept, but now we're using less material, stuff you can find so easy. Look at these, are just king size sheets that are covering this cylinder type thing. This is an old wire, you know, that you can get on Facebook. I get all my wire for free. People are getting rid of it, and this wire here is very old and very rugged. It'll last another 10 years for all I know. It's invincible, right? And so it's kind of like a huge grow bag, isn't it? Because this is what's going to hold all the medium, the soil growing medium in. Okay, look at how light it is, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to make mine this year using the same Eve principles, where you have a reservoir under there where you can regulate your irrigation. You do not want to lose that precious irrigation. You people in California, come on, in the desert, places where we lack water, you don't want to lose this precious irrigation. That's one principle of Eve growing. All right, and these here are packed right here. I got a ton of worm castings in this one, and then I've got some soil in this one. And this is basically what I'm going to do. I'll poke my plants right in here, and it'll be just amazing. I have no doubt this is going to work great, and that's why I want to share it with you. I want to share it today. Is October 10th. 2021. I want to share this early so you people can get an early start, especially those of you who are growing season starting now. You can get a start on this and start making these. And please come to my Facebook group and share your work with me. Come join my Facebook groups, my private Facebook groups, where I open source all these ideas freely. They're private, but everybody's welcome. And these towers, these Eve Grow towers, which can do the same thing as these soilless growing towers can do, only better. Less stress of your garden failing. So let's get to it. Let's make one of these. I'll show you how to make, how simple it is. I'll set one up, and I'm gonna what I'll do with it, since winter's coming, I won't be able to grow anything here where I live, here in New England, in this small little town. I won't be able to grow anything, but I'll be able to use it as a composter until springtime comes. I'll add some composting rolls in it. I've showed you videos on that. Composting rolls, how I'll bury it in there, and it'll be ready for springtime. And I think we'll see how long these sheets, these 100% cotton sheets last. We'll see how many seasons. If we only get one growth season, that's fine. Like the stuff we're going to pack in it, the clothing, everything, folks. If it's organic, we can turn it into soil. Let's not let these sanitation people take our organics, because they don't know what to do with it. They're making a ton of money by taking away our organics, and they're doing bad things with it. They're just dumping it into a landfill or incinerating it in the air. So they don't know what to do, and they're making a ton of money off of our organics we've already purchased. So, and as I've said in other videos, no matter how gross it is, if it's organic, Mother Nature gives us tools, free tools, simple tools, to turn it into awesome, rich soil amendments. That biodiversity we talked about that's being lost in commercial farming is coming to all of us, individual. You know, it took all of us getting into this mess. It's going to take all of us to get us out of this mess. So I won't go on that tangent right now. Let's build one of these 2022 Eve towers. Now, this one I'm building today is not going to have the mobile aspect to it, but I will be showing videos of how this one can be mobile as well. Mobile gardens, again, you've heard it here first. Eve Growing is the only one doing it. One day, these gardens are going to be intelligent gardens, and we're going to have these towers be like some intelligent animal that come from the field to the grower who's waiting in a cool, comfortable place where all the growing needs are met. So let's get on with the video, okay? All right, so let's talk about this bike tire. I'm going to be taking the tube out of it, and this is a great rubber band. The tube in it just makes a wonderful rubber band, and you can get probably, I usually get 2 rubber bands out of it, but you could get 4. I've done some where you can get 4 of them, and these rubber bands have many purposes, and the rims themselves are what I use to keep my grow medium away from my reservoirs. So, and you'll see that as we do the video. So this wire, folks, all day long. When you see some wire like this, you could use chicken wire. I've used galvanized fencing, which is kind of hard to work with initially because it kind of collapses on you when you're building your tower. But once you put your medium in there, it works amazing. It's invincible. And I have no doubt with a galvanized fencing, you'll be able to go a very long time not needing to change it out. Many grow seasons with one tower. And we'll talk more about that. So basically it's a ring, right? And it's nothing new. It looks kind of like the Johnson Sioux bioreactor or any typical composting bin that you compost with in a cylinder fashion. There's nothing new here, right? What's new is not only is it a composter, it can be a grow tower. So we're getting multiple uses out of this material. In the springtime, in the summertime, we're growing food. In the fall and winter, we're composting leaves with the same materials. So it's a win-win. I get my sheets at the Goodwills and the Salvation Armies. And of course, it's usually the color of the day, so it's half of that. So $3 I paid for this particular sheet that I like the pattern. And the beauty about these towers as well, folks, is we're going to be able to have different patterns, and so look for earthy type tones because they look a little better. Your garden looks a little better because when you first set up a tower, as many of you know, it kind of looks utilitarian. My wife tells me that. But once the plants come in, you don't see the towers anymore, and that's kind of an exciting thing. And once you set it up, put it in place, it takes care of itself. Of course, as I've always said in my videos, the angels of the soil, these red wigglers, are doing all the work as they create great drainage and good aeration within the tower. So I'm very excited about this one because I'm going to show many videos on how I'm going to set this up, and we're going to touch upon commercially, how we're going to do these commercially, and of course once we get into that mobile aspect. So let's get on with the of how I did this. Now first I used this half a 55-gallon drum, so we got about 25 gallons of wicking power in here, and there's that bike rim that I attached to this half 55-gallon drum, and this bike rim is going to keep the soil medium away from the reservoir. It doesn't matter if stuff falls into this water. That can is the filtration. Now I buried this a little bit below the conduit there. And notice this conduit is about 1 inch below the top of the rim of the barrel. And so again, I buried it below because when you fill it around it, like shown in this picture here, this shows the wicking tower that I've made that I put in a wire mesh. This one shows that I covered it with some material. And this one again shows that I buried it all. So when I put this, the rim on top of it, the casing itself on top of it, it slides right on there. That's basically, I put some hugel culture there. Look at that wood right there. That's some seasoned wood chips. And now you'll get a sense of why I had to bury it, because this slides right on there nicely like that. And so this, of course, is how it looks. And most of this material right here is synthetic material. Now when I bury, come spring, I'm going to bury a lot of cottons inside this as well. I'll use an iron awl. We'll shoot a video on that one, I hope. So many videos, so little time. I filled this with a lot of last year's soil And most of it is composted soil that I had from 2021 fall season. So notice water from the top, and that's how the water comes out, right? And this water is coming out more nutrient rich due to the biodiversity found within each of these containers. All right, so that's it. That's how you build the 2022 Grow Tower right here. Now what I plan on doing, it's amazing because we're always thinking of our next garden, our next year's garden. When this year's done, we're thinking of the next year's. But this year, or next year's garden, is going to have this. I'm going to have a row of them, and I'm going to tie it so the water's here, and I water them all at once. So with this system, the beauty about it is you water far less than you would growing horizontally. Vertical is the way to go, especially people living in California. You want to save that precious irrigation, all right? And we can grow anywhere. Now there's one principle that this is missing, of course, is the mobile aspect. And I have no doubt we'll be able to put one of these on some kind of a pallet that'll be able to be moved around easily. So I think we're getting we're getting there. You know, all the different styles I showed at the beginning of this video, all the different towers has come to something as simple as this. And I wish I knew now what I didn't know when I first started this project, but I'm sure there's still a lot more that I'm going to be learning as we are trying to incorporate eco-vertical evolution, combining soilless growing with soil for a growing experience like no other. What are we doing when we're growing with soil? We're composting, we're recycling, reusing. We're doing all the things that we need to do to help this planet from destroying itself. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video and many times before, this organics that are coming our way is being wasted by people who are making big bucks off of this organics. We closed the loop here in this little yard. We've closed the loop. We turned it into a circular setup. It's rugged. This soil will drop down probably about here it's October now. It's not October 10th, this I think is when I said the video started, but now it's October 14th or something like that. This has already dropped down since I built it yesterday. It's going to drop down probably to here. Come springtime, I'll fill it up, it'll all settle in, and I'll poke plants in here, and it'll start looking like this. Same thing going on here, and I'll be taking this apart to see what that one looks. I showed you how to build this particular one, and I showed you all the stuff I put in there. Clothing is a great moisture retainer. All right, so cottons, 100% cottons. If you'd notice with this one, I put a lot of synthetics. You saw in that there was a quilt in there that I used in one of my towers for last year. The quilt looks brand new because it's all synthetic materials that was made with that quilt. So that is a great thing, so the worms don't eat that up. You still got that wicking capability. And some of the clothes that are like 50 cotton, 50 polyester, you can see how they've eaten all the cotton out of it. So clothing. And another thing I'll do with this tower, at the beginning of the season, I will stick an awl in here, and I'll use an iron awl, and I'll drag some long 100% cotton. And another good thing, if this is 100% cotton, this outer is 100, so no doubt I'll probably get maybe 1-2 growth seasons out of it. But if it's like the synthetic clothing that I used the last time, it was 3 years I went with that particular. It was 3 years that I went with that particular tower, and I could have won another year. And the material I still have to hold back for my leaves for this year. So these make great towers. This particular unit is going to be. It's going to be a worm bed, it's going to be a composter, it's going to be a grow tower. So much more. We've just touched the surface on this particular design. Stay tuned. I'll be breaking this one apart. I showed you how we built it. I'll take it apart, and all the stuff, all the organic stuff you'll see is literally gone. And I haven't watered this for a month and a half maybe, really. I haven't watered. I came back from vacation 2 weeks. Gone away from it, didn't have to worry about it at all. Think about that, all you soilless growers. Didn't have to worry about it for 2 weeks. I don't have to worry about the power cutting out or the pump failing. You don't have to worry about it. I'm growing vertical, I'm saving my irrigation, and I'm not tied into some corporate entity for these synthetic liquid fertilizers. Okay? Everything's found. Gardening shouldn't cost you anything. It's free. If you know what to look for and where to find free supplies. So that's all I have to say for now. I hope everybody's doing well in these trying times. God bless. Over and out. We will heal this planet, one urban farmer at a time.